All right. Hi guys, welcome to class. So today we are jumping into basic concept in JavaScript. So we are going to talking about data types in JavaScript, returning data, that is how data is stored and used in JavaScript. Then we are going to be talking about finally template string or template literals. All right. So at the end of the class, you are supposed to have learned how to store and use data in JavaScript, then the different kinds of data types you have in JavaScript, and as well template string or template literals in JavaScript. So before we proceed, first of all, we have our HTML file created already here. So let's create our JavaScript file. Just right click on new file, or you can as well go here, click on this icon, new file, and create. So let's create a new file. We'll call the file script.js. So successfully created a new JavaScript file. So what we'll do now is to link our JavaScript file to our HTML file so that we can be able to run and see what we are doing on our browser. So go to step into our HTML file, go to the base of the body, the HTML body element, then link it there using the script. So come here, link it src. This src is this address of the JavaScript file, and our address is script.js. So just type script.js, it will just pop up. Click on it. Right now, we have successfully linked our script file to our HTML file. So let's test and see whether this has been successfully linked. We'll come here, just write one code, say alert, just to give a pop-up message if this has been successfully linked. Alert, we say this has been linked. All right, so let's run it on our browser and see. We'll come here, Control R. We have a pop-up message saying this has been linked. So we have successfully linked our JavaScript file to our HTML. So let's proceed to what we have for today. Okay, so today we're talking about retaining data in JavaScript. So currently we're talking about data types in JavaScript. Then finally we're talking about template strings in JavaScript. So these are the three concepts we'll be learning today, and I believe by the end of the class, you should be able to have a very good working knowledge of these three concepts. So first of all, we'll go stepping into retaining data. What does retaining data mean? It means how data are stored and used in JavaScript. How data are stored and used in a JavaScript program. How data are stored and used in a JavaScript program. So there are two ways data are stored and used in a JavaScript program. They're either stored as variables, or they are stored as constants. So they're either stored as variable or as a constant. So what are variables? Like the word imply, variables means something that varies, something that can be changed. Data that are stored as variables can be changed, while data that are stored as constants cannot be changed. So let us create a variable and see. Let's initialize the variable and see what it's all about. The first step in initializing a variable is using the let keyword. The let keyword, then the name of the variable. So let's say we have a variable called, want to create a variable, want to name it num. All right, so first of all, we'll have the let keyword there to show that this is a variable. Then the name of the variable, let's say we'll call it num, then it's equal to 30. Then please, best practice, according to best practice in JavaScript, it's that after every line of code, you add your semicolon to end it. So All right, so this is what I have here. This is a variable. We have initialized a variable. All right, we have initialized a variable. So variable name is called num, and the value of the variable is 30. All right, so the let there is a keyword that shows that this is a variable. This data is a variable, is stored as a variable. All right, so one thing about variables that variables can change. The values that the variable carries can be changed. All right, it can be changed. And let's see how that is. First of all, let's console log this and see how it will appear on our console. Like the console is a powerful tool that is built into a browser. All right, that allows developer to inspect and to debug their codes and to run powerful and to check powerful things on their browser. So the console provides that platform. All right, so let's go to the console. How do you First of all, let's console.log this. Whatever is console.log will be logged on our console. So let's console.log num, this variable num. All right, so console.log num. Don't always forget your semicolon at the side, at the end of every line. So come in, run it. So let's try to enter into our console. How do you do that? You right click on the browser here. You see an option there, inspect. Going to inspect is going to open up a different part here. So you come and look for the console. We have welcome, we have element, then this is the console. Click on the console. So we have this is what the console look like. So I see the value of our variable num have been logged on our console. So we have 30 here. So the console is where you can log messages. The developer can log messages and see what he or she is doing. All right, so let's proceed. So variables, the number of the variables, the value of the variables can be changed. That's why they are called variables. So come and say let num. We say num is equal to 50. All right, so we've assigned a new value to our variable. So let's come and console log this. Let's console log this. So let's see the new value of our variable. We come in, Control R, discover that the variable have changed from 30 to 50. So the values of a variable can be changed. All right, so we're able to change the value of the variable num from 30 to 50 because it is a variable. So let's see how constant work. All right, let's come to constant. To initialize or create a constant, we need the const keyword, just like we use the let keyword for the variables. For the constant, it is the const keyword. Let's say const name, const name, const. So let's say string is equal to. So we'll give it the const. First of all, it begins with a const, then the name of the constant. So str is the name of the constant. That's why I give it. Then let me assign the value to it. So the value will be in form of a string. I'll say Emmanuel. All right. So I've assigned this value to this constant. All right. So let me log this constant and see console the log. So I want to see the message, the constant value of the constant logged on my console. So console the log str. All right. So we'll come in, Control R. We have Emmanuel. So the value on our console we have Emmanuel. We've logged the value of this constant str on our console and it has delivered showed us Emmanuel. All right, so let's see whether we can change the value of this constant. Like I said, the difference between constant and variable is that the values of a constant cannot be changed, it cannot be altered. The value of a constant remains constant. From the word constant, you know what that is. So let's come and see. All right, so let's say str is equal to, let me give it another, let me say is equal to John. All right, so let me now console log this, bring this console down here. All right, so this was the first value of the constant str Emmanuel. So now I want to change the value and assign another value to it called John. Don't forget, JavaScript, your code is being read one line at a time. So one line, line by line. So from line 1 to line 2 to line 3 to line 4. So before any line will be read, the line above it has already run already. So that's how it is read line by line. So let's consider log this and see. We'll have an error saying what the error say assignment to constant variable. So you cannot change what you have assigned to a constant variable to remain constant. Unlike the variable in which you can change the values of a variable anytime, but for the constant, you can't change the value of the constant. So those are the two ways you retain data in JavaScript. You can retain data or store data as a variable or as a constant. So we are good to go. The next we are going to be talking about, first of all, let's remove this so that we don't the error message on the console can disappear. So we'll come here, Control R. So it's not normal. So let's go to data type in JavaScript. In JavaScript, we have 6 different type of data type. All right. The first is what we call the number. The second is what we call the strings. String. The third is what we call the boolean. Boolean. The fourth is what we call the null. The fifth is what we call arrays. And the sixth is what we call objects. Objects. Those are the 6 different type of data type we have. So let's talk about numbers. What are numbers? The number data type includes integers and decimals. All right. You know what integers and decimals are. Your number, you know what your numbers are. So integers and decimals in JavaScript are your number data type. So let's say let num1 be equals to 40. All right. So this is your number data type. All right. It can be either integers as in 40 or decimals as in 40.5. All right. This is your number data type look like. All right. Just the normal number, you know. So let me console log this and see console the log num1, because that's the name of the variable num1. Then come and run into my console, my browser, Control R, got about 40.5. So this is a number data type. So the next is what we call a string data type. String data type are text. Text, I mean alphabet letters. All right. So letters are called string. They are string data type in JavaScript, all right? And they are written like this. So let's say let letters be equal to, first of all, string data type are written inside of a quote. It can be either single quote or double quote. But if you are going with single quote, make sure you go with it all through the program. If you are going with double quotes, make sure you use it all through the program. Don't switch between quotes. All right. So now we're using double quotes. So come here and see string equals to early code. All right. So let letters be equals to early code. This is what a string data type look like. Alphabet letters are all written as strings. All right. And strings data type must have the quotation marks before, and the string that is the letter inside the quotation mark. So this is the string data type. So let's console the log letter. We have letters here. Don't forget your quotes at the end of the line. Control R. We have early code logged on the console. So the next data type is what we call the boolean. The boolean data type. The boolean data types are your true and false value. Let's say let bool be equal to true. All right. True and false value are your boolean. So this is the boolean data type. It's either the true or the false value. So boolean is either true or false. True or false. All right. So let's go. So when you write true or false like this, you're talking about true like this. You're talking about a boolean. All right. But you can still have true inside of it as a string when it's inside the quote. All right. So don't, this true is not inside any quote. quotation mark. So this is a boolean value. All right, so it's different from when you have true inside of a quotation mark. That will now change it to be a string, so you don't forget. So let's console the log this. Console the log. We have bool. Console the log bool. So let's log it on our console and see what we have. Control R. So we have the true on our console. So we can see changes to false. It's either a true or false. False. So Control R. We have the false. So boolean is either the true or false value. It's either the true or false value. The next is our null. Our null. So what is our null all about? Our null is when you want to create a variable, a constant that is not empty, but that does not contain a value. It's not empty, but it does not contain a value. So we call that a null data type. We can come here and say, um, let let earlycode equals to earlycode equals to null. All right. So null is not, it makes this variable not to be an empty variable, all right, but at the same time it does not contain any value. All right, so null is not a data type that has a value in it. So that's what's all about. Let me console the log this. Console the log console the log of the early code. So I'll come in, Control R, go back to our console here. Control R, we have the null. All right, then finally, not finally, we have the next data type we have is the arrays. Arrays are a collection of value that are assigned to a single variable. All right, arrays is a collection of multiple values assigned, or it can be a single value, but they are a collection of values assigned to a single variable or constant. Collection of values, or more like a list, but they are assigned to a variable. Let's say, or I like using the const because I think array are more balanced data type. They are called array and object are called complex data type, while the other data types are called literals. All right, so let's go ahead and just create an array. So let me say const. I like using the const when it comes to array and object. When I'm creating and initializing an array and an object, I like using the const. All right, to make sure the data type is permanent. So const is equal to, so to create the array, to initialize an array, first of all, there's what we call the array bracket. It must be inside an array bracket. So what's the array bracket? The square bracket. This is an array bracket, all right? So your values will be inside this bracket. Don't forget, it is not the parentheses or the curly bracket, arrays have a unique bracket called the square bracket, all right? Or the array bracket. And this is what it looks like. So don't forget, because students can maybe mistake it to be a parenthesis or probably a curly bracket. No, arrays have their unique bracket. So inside this array, you can come and assign place different values. Let's say earlycode, earlycode, all right, comma. After each value, there's a comma. Earlycode, JavaScript, and the values can be different value of different data types. Let's say 50 number data type. Let's say we have the null, right? Then what else don't you have here? We have the null, and comma, we have the true. So arrays can contain different types of data types. So let's console the log this. Console the log. All right. R1, R1, console log R1. All right, so let's see. There's one unique feature that arrays have, and what is that feature? Each of the values in an array occupy a unique position called index position or the index number. All right, they occupy a unique position. All right, they have a unique index number which determines their position, and the index number begins from zero. All right, the index number begins from zero. So let's run this on our console and see what it looks like. All right, so this is what it appears to look like in our console. All right, so you see the earlycode, which is first value, is occupy an index position of 0, followed by JavaScript index position of 1, 2 for 50, null, position of 3, true, position of 4, and the length of our array is 5. So that we have 5 different values, and that's the length of our array. So this is what the array data types look like. All right, so it's a collection of values assigned to a variable, a constant, and each of those values occupy different index position. All right, different index positions. Then next, we'll be talking about the object. All right, object is also a collection of different values, but are in form of key value pairs. They're a collection of different values, but are in form of key value pairs, and those values are related values. All right, they are related values. So let's initialize an object const, and just like the array, the object has a unique bracket called the curly bracket or the object bracket like we know. So let's say const like we know. All right, so look at this. So let's change this. Let's say this object should be an object of person. Const person. All right, so creating a person object. So looking at the person, what are the properties of a person? Let's say a person has a name, a person has a complexion, a person has a unique age. Or so let's create the key values or the properties and values that this object has. So let's say first of all it has a name, then we have the colon before the name. No, the name is a string because letters. All right, so let's call the name Emmanuel. So then you have a comma, then create the next value. Let's say age. Then you have your column. Then the age is 25. You have your comma. Then next, let's say complexion, because this is the person object we are creating. Complexion, like I said, the properties or the properties of an array are related. All right, they are related. So if you have an object of a car, so you know it contains related values. So you have complexion. Let's say fair. You know, fair is a letter, so it should be in a string. All right, so the comma. Then finally, let's say is beautiful. We'll use the is beautiful. So we'll use the boolean here, true. True. All right, so we have successfully created this array object. So one unique feature one unique feature of an object we need to know is that object contains key value pairs. The values key value pair or properties and values. All right, so this is an object of person we created const person, and it has properties, the name property and the value of the name, the age property, the value of the age, the complexion property, the value of the complexion, then is beautiful property and the value which is true. So it contains related values. All right, so let's console log this and see how it will appear on our console. Console the log person. All right, this person. So comment, don't forget at the end of every line of code, you put your quotes, your semicolon there. So Control R. So this is what an object looks like in our console, right? It has the property and the value 25, property, value, property, value, property, value. So that's what the object looks like. So there's one thing I want to just push in 3 things on how to name a variable, a constant, because there are naming rules, naming convention rules. All right. First of all, one thing you must know, you must begin your naming of a variable, a constant, with lowercase. Don't begin with capital case. All right. Number two, you must make sure you give them meaningful names. All right. Don't just name a variable constant anyhow. It's going to bring confusion in your code. Give them meaningful names. Maybe names that are related to what you want to perform with those variables or constant. Thirdly, when you are using combined words, probably like the way I have early code here, the first word, the first letter of the first word must begin with a small letter, while the first letter of the second word must begin with a capital letter, and it goes on and on. If you have more words combined, the first letters of the subsequent words must begin with a capital letter. Thirdly, you must not use the name of a variable or constant must not be a JavaScript keyword. All right, it must not be a JavaScript keywords. So JavaScript has keyword like the function, and the function is a keyword in JavaScript. You must not name your variable a constant as function. All right, you must not name them as function. And all right, you must not begin. Finally, you must not begin the naming of a variable a constant with a symbol. All right, but there are two exceptions to this. You can name your variable a constant. It can begin the name with a symbol, the dollar symbol and the underscore symbol. But aside these two symbols, you are not supposed to begin the name of your variable a constant with any other symbol aside the dollar symbol, the dollar, the US dollar symbol, then and the underscore symbol. Just so you know. Then lastly, what we're talking about template strings. Template string. What are template string in JavaScript? All right. String allow you interpolate variables and expression. Interpolate variables and expression in JavaScript. All right. You can interpolate. You can make your code more dynamic using the template string. So first of all, before we go, let's create a variable and a constant. Let's say we already have name. So let's call this name one. Name one equals to Joseph. All right. Then let's say let age one be equals to 30. All right. So you can interpolate this in an expression. You can interpolate this and make your code more dynamic using the template script. So let's say we have this now. All right. Say we have let message. All right. Be equal to. This is the syntax for the template string. First of all, you use your backtick instead of your quote, your quotation mark. You use your backtick. All right. The backtick is found the key underneath the escape key on your keyboard. The backtick. You can come here and say, okay, my name is all right. So you are interpolating the name one variables now into this expression using the template string. How do you do that? You have the dollar sign followed by a curly bracket. All right. Then inside you put the variable name one there, name one, and the same thing goes for the age. My name is whatever values that the name one carries is going to appear there. My name is name one, and I am. Let's interpolate the age. The same thing, the dollar sign, then the curly bracket, then we'll call the age variable inside there, age one, old. All right, so you are making your code more dynamic, all right, using the template. So let's enter this. Let's say console.log message so that we'll see how this will appear on our console.log message because, yeah, message. Perfect. Don't forget your semicolon after every line of code. All right. So Control R. I see. My name is Joseph and I am 30. All right. This expression is not complete. 30 years old. All right. So let me rerun it. Control R. 30 years old. I see. So you're able to make your program more dynamic, making it more personal. You can personalize it. All right. More dynamic, changing. You're able to to interpolate, use both um, strings and variables in a particular expression. It's going to come out perfect. So this is what template string is all about. All right, do well to practice and do well to go over this video again if you don't, and trying to understand what has been taken. Go over this video again to get and to understand better what is being taught. Thank you very much. See you some other time.